Greek states that ringed the coast of the Aegean formed a grand confederacy with Athens for protection against the Persians. Historians call it the Delian League, after the small island where the Allies had their headquarters. Delos was a sacred place, the legendary birthplace of Apollo and Artemis.
I think the Greeks got it right when they thought the gods of wind, sea and sky roamed round here. It was very astute to base the League here. This was a neutral island. And also primevally sacred. A fog of mystery and superstition surrounded the place. This is not somewhere that you'd have tampered with.
To begin with, the League was a huge success. As time went on, it became more and more clear that Athens, with its vast navy, was the obvious leader of the League. Many of the smaller states found it impossible to man a fleet all year round, so it suited both sides for Athens to provide protection and take money from the Allies for the service.
To celebrate the foundation of the League, this temple to Apollo was built, and in it, a massive treasury where all the League's cash could be stored. But then, just 20 years later, the League stops building work, which is very odd, because this is the time when the Greek world is at its most prosperous. And then you realise there's something else going on here.
Building had stopped on Delos because the treasury of the League had been moved from its neutral territory to Athens itself. Allies who attempted to leave the coalition soon found themselves forced back in by the Athenians. What had once been a mutual defence pact was now looking very much like an empire.
First they had the silver mines, and now they had an empire. Democratic Athenians had more money than they could spend.
Pericles used the surplus in a brash new way to create for the people a symbol of their own imperial glory. In 447 BC, work began on the defining symbol of ancient Greece, the Parthenon. In 447 BC, the modest temple of Athena that had lain in ruins since the Persian invasion was rebuilt on an epic scale. It was the favourite undertaking of Pericles, the Parthenon. For 15 years, citizens, slaves and foreigners laboured side by side to construct one of the most celebrated buildings in history. But the million tourists who visit each year find a site covered in scaffolding and cranes. The restoration is giving new insight into the original construction.
Do you know how many would have been working on here when it was first built?
Yes, I believe that it was about 200 people for the erection of the Parthenon.
200?
Yes.
And from sunrise
Working
to
from
sunset?
sunset.
Yeah.
Eating in the building. We found between the members, we found bones from chicken and cells.
Seashells?
So, yes, seashells.
Fantastic.
They are sitting over there, looking the view, fantastic, and eating upstairs.
That's brilliant, so having a kind of shellfish picnic while they build the Parthenon.
The Parthenon was adorned with reliefs, including those supreme aristocrats, the Athenian cavalry. It was the biggest temple in Greece.
Every powerful city or state wants to express his strength. I think this is an appearance of that.
Yeah, a monument to power.
Yes.
Well, the Parthenon is always called a temple. What people forget is it was primarily a bank. It was a place in which we put money, treasures, and it wasn't used for any religious ritual that we know. Not only does it put its money and treasures there, but it was built out of money from the empire. So far from being a symbol of a pure white Hellenism, is a symbol of how Athens asserted power over a lot of rather smaller states and used it to glorify itself.